Your manifestations probably failed because you was obsessing over them and you needed them so desperately that they never came to you because you was chasing instead of attracting. In this video, I want to tell you exactly how the law of detachment works and few tips and tricks on how to actually train your brain to detach from your desired reality. Hello, my name is Nadia and welcome back to my channel. Today, I want to tell you about detachment. And first, I want to tell you what detachment is not. Detachment doesn't mean that you stop caring about your manifestations. It doesn't mean that you stop wanting the outcome. That is not true, and that's simply not the case, because I am all for being obsessed over your manifestations, because people that are obsessed, they achieve their goals. However, that obsession has to come from the belief that you already have it, the belief that this is meant for you, rather than I need this, otherwise my whole world is going to crumble. Detachment doesn't mean that you don't care, that you've given up, or that you're pretending that you don't want it. Detachment is basically being okay no matter what the outcome is. Now, the reason why attachment actually blocks your manifestations is because when you are in this needing energy that you have to have it, you need this to happen, it's because of what I was speaking about in the few of the previous videos, is that you are always manifesting. So if you need something right now in this very moment, or you just need it to happen, otherwise your whole world is going to crumble, it tells the universe that you don't have it. You're basically manifesting that you don't have your desired reality right now. And this is the first mistake when it comes to detachment, because you do have to be obsessed with your goals. You do have to be obsessed with the idea of who you want to become, but you cannot be attached to it. And I will explain what is the difference between them two and how to detach. Now, what detachment actually looks like: you still have to take action, and you still have to visualize, and you still have to do your journaling, and you have to do all of that. That's fine. You have to keep doing that in order to achieve your goals. However, when the reality doesn't catch up straight away, the 3D, like I've spoken about, the 5D creates your reality, and then the 3D responds to that reality. However, the 3D vibrates lower, meaning that it responds slower. It needs more time. So if you are applying for the jobs, you're visualizing, or maybe not jobs, just whatever it is that you're trying to manifest, but the 3D is not responding straight away, you don't spiral. So you're still taking action, you're still applying, you're still visualizing, you're still doing all the mental work. But when it doesn't happen when you want it to happen, you don't spiral into this idea like, oh my God, okay, it's not happening. Or you don't check constantly your emails. Oh, did they respond? Like, what's going on with this? Should I check? Like, what? This is attachment. You are attached to your goals and you ruining your own manifestation. You have to remember your identity isn't fragile. Your higher self isn't someone that needs to constantly check if the outcome is there yet, because she knows that it is coming her way. If she thought it, it's already there, it's already out there, it's already in the 5D, and the 3D is just catching up, but that's okay. I want to give you examples on how I personally detached from few of my outcomes of what I wanted to manifest at the time. And the first ever time I used this technique that I'm about to share with you was last year in July, when I was doing my driving test. Now, with my driving test, my practical driving test, I had very low chances of passing, and it had nothing to do with my driving skills, but it had everything to do with my confidence. I was not a confident driver, and I didn't want to drive, which already made me, like, I had this limiting belief that I'm a bad driver because I just don't drive well, because I'm stressed and I hate driving. And I was dreading my driving lessons, even though I had the most amazing driving instructor. She was honestly such an angel. She was calm with me, she was reassuring, she was just so good. But I think she also didn't think I'm gonna pass, and the reason why I know, she was telling me that she believes in me, but at the same time when I passed she was shocked. So that just reaffirmed that, yeah, she didn't actually expect me to pass. However, I live in a big city. Driving was scary. I had driving lessons for a very long time just because I had no confidence at all when driving on the road. That being said, I wasn't scared. I had a lot of stressful situations on the road with my driving instructor where she freaked out. She was like, "What the hell just happened to us?" But I was just chilling. Like when I was behind the wheel, I was chilling, I was focused. I was like, "Okay, this is happening. We just have to drive." However, when my driving test was coming up, I just had this feeling like I'm not going to pass because I was not confident enough to pass. Like confidence, it comes from belief, and I was like, there is no way I'm going to pass. Like it's not going well for me. I hate driving, and I knew deep down that my attitude is going to make me fail. I live in a big city, so driving tests are not easily accessible. If I was going to book a driving test right now, I would get it for like July or maybe even August. Like I booked my July test around February, March last year. So it takes very long for the driving test to be available. I don't know why that is, but that's the system right now. I know a lot of people are complaining about it, but it's been like this for a couple of years and it's not good. So that put extra pressure on me because I was like, if I don't pass this test right now, I know I'm not going to pass, but if I don't pass, I have to rebook it and the next one is available in another 6 months. And I was just like, I just don't want to go through this. This is not good. And then 3 days before my test, I thought to myself, I create my reality. I own my reality. The reality bends how I want it to bend. So what I did was very important because a week before my test, I was like, no way, I'm not passing this. I don't want to even do this. I'm just going to do it, get it over with, and book it for the next 6 months. I'm not passing. I'm not confident. I don't want to drive ever again, whatever. And then 3 days before my test, I said, enough is enough. I create my reality. I'm going to pass it now because I'm not waiting another 6 months to have a second chance. I'm passing it now. This is the day that I've booked, and that's exactly what's going to happen. And I started to visualize. And at the time, I didn't actually know that you have to visualize the outcome, as in, like, for example, me already driving like a couple months after getting my license, I thought you have to, like, I didn't actually think anything of it, but that's what I was visualizing. I wasn't visualizing me passing and the happiness of me passing. I was visualizing the me driving a couple of years down the line when I finally decided to drive, because I didn't want to drive to begin with. But anyway, so that's what I was doing 3 days before my test. And I also was trying to train my brain. I was saying, there is no reason why I would fail this. Because apart from my confidence, I'm a good driver. I've had so many lessons. I passed my theory. There is no reason in the universe that tells me I'm going to fail apart from what I was telling myself. And this is like that with so many things in your life. So many things around you may be telling you that you're going to fail. It does not matter, because the most important thing is what you are telling yourself. And this was one of the eye openers, how quickly I can actually manifest. Because I decided that I am a first time, because this is another thing. I wasn't visualizing I wasn't manifesting passing my exam, because when you manifest passing your exam, that could also be in 6 months. You don't know when your reality will catch up. So I was specifically manifesting being a driver who passed first time, because it was my first practical test. So I was visualizing that I passed my test first time and I'm driving down the road and I'm, listening to music, whatever. So this is very important. You have to visualize exactly what you want, exactly who you are. And I was a driver that passed first time. That was the identity that I said to be 3 days before my test. And I was doing that for 3 days. And this is how I detached, by telling myself, what will happen if I fail? And I don't know if this is an actual technique. I heard about it once. I don't remember from who. I heard about it like a year ago. And then I never heard about it again. because it kind of goes against manifesting. Like, you have to always be 100% sure that it's happening. But this technique that I found out a year ago works, because I tell my brain what will happen if I failed that day for my test. I am 100% sure that I've passed. I am 100% sure that I'm a first time passing driver, whatever. But if I don't pass, what will happen? I'm going to rebook my test and I'm going to do it again and I'm going to pass then. The world isn't going to fall down. I'm not going to lose a lot of money doing this. Like, nothing bad happens to me if I fail. It makes no attachment to who I am. It does not change my life negatively. It doesn't affect my life. It's not the end of the world. No one's going to be mad at me. Maybe I will be a little bit disappointed, but it's part of human experience. You try, you fail, whatever. And when I told myself this story, that nothing bad is actually going to happen, that it does not matter if I have to rebook it for 6 months, then so be it. I'm just gonna have to rebook it for 6 months. Like, 6 months is nothing. Like, it's okay if I fail. And once I told myself that it's okay if I fail, I stopped being needy, and that helped me visualize better. It cleared my head. It calmed down my nervous system, because I was okay with it not happening the way I wanted to. But at the same time, I continued to visualize, yes, this is what's happening. This is who I am. I passed my test first time. And I tell you, the universe always gives you what you want or something better. And guys, I passed first time with 1 minor by this technique. And if you ask my driving instructor, I was one of the most nervous drivers. And I don't mean on the road, because on the road I was very like, okay, focus. This is how I am in stressful situations. I just focus. Like, this is what we're doing. We have to stay calm, action. But before getting in the car, I was always like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be here. I can't wait for this to be over. I also really didn't like driving. It was, a thing that I actually hated. So it made it really hard for me to even visualize passing, because I didn't even want to drive in this big city. And that technique helped me manifest my dream reality. And ever since this technique worked with this driving license thing, I have used it so many times. Every time I decide I am someone who did something, I then tell myself, if I feel attached to this outcome, because there is also manifestations where I don't even feel attached, where I'm just like, okay, just let whatever happen, I know who I am. But there is manifestations that I still feel attached, that I still feel like I need this 3D validation. And then I tell myself, what will happen when this doesn't happen the way I want it to? And the answer is always nothing. Nothing is going to happen. Your world is not going to crumble. You're going to be okay either way. And you'll find a different path, and you'll find a different job, and you'll find a different opportunity. And life will be good in a different way. And maybe you're even going to get something better. And that's another thing, that when you're trying to detach, you have to always trust and surrender in the universe. Because at the end of the day, you don't know your path. Your highest self knows your path, right? Your highest self knows your paths, and your highest self is sending you ideas in your head. So if you had an idea in the first place, the chances of that idea being your path are so high. The chances of you achieving all your goals, desires, and dreams are so high, because this is exactly who you're meant to be. The idea isn't random. And you just have to trust that it is that way. And once you trust and surrender to this idea, it's going to happen for you. You also have to understand that your dreams want you more than you want them. But if you want them, you are chasing them and they're running away. But if you stay in the present and you surrender, your dreams are chasing you, and they'll be able to catch up into the 3D from the 5D, from your imagination. Whatever idea you had in your 5D will come to you in your 3D, as long as you surrender and you stay instead of running in circles trying to chase. Stop chasing. You attract always.